card delight, trading cards. It's time to tune in, join the conversation, ready to journey into the trading card hall.
Cool. That sounds. I think we did a good job. Trading card talk, and we can do that.
In fact, that's why I think it'd be cool to be in this podcast, because I didn't play card games until 2 years ago, right? Like, you don't even play card games at all. So that's even cool. Then why are you guys so crazy about this? Then we can also. I say I wanted this podcast also to be a place where people can discover card games, so that our audience for this podcast becomes a bit broader, lah. Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the Trading Card Talk, the podcast where we dive into the world of trading card games. I'm your co-host, and today we have a very exciting episode discussing about the future of trading card games with a panel of shop owners, Chris Liao and Geoffrey. So let's get started. Chris, you want to take over?
Sure. Hi. My name is Chris. I own a trading cards game store in Malaysia called Stormgate Games. I've been doing this business for 2.5 years, and I'm still very excited about cardboard. And I actually right now really love and support this game called Flash Emblem. So that's a bit about me. Yeah. How about you, Geoffrey?
Hi everyone. I'm Geoffrey. I'm one of the co-owners of Invaders Board Game Station in Indonesia. So Invaders was established in 2019, and as a matter of fact, we were initially more focused on board games, but then since me personally have a history with card games, I love card games, so we just kind of pick it up along the way, and that's how we also start Flash Emblem in our store.
Thank you for your introduction, and I think one of the reasons why we having this podcast today is we want to put our finger on the pulse on the trading card community and how do we see the future of trading card games evolving. I believe this trend will continue in the future, although I'm new at this game, but I believe this trend will continue in the future, and the appeal of physical cards collecting and the social aspect of playing with friends face to face is something that digital games cannot replicate. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, for sure. I wish I discovered card games when I was younger, honestly, because it's so exciting to meet different people, and that's something I think digital cannot replicate, and that's why I think trading card games like Flash Emblem, for example, will always have a place in people's lives, right? Because when you play card games, yes, you are playing with cardboard. We have my expensive cardboard for what. But I think that might be place actually to get to know people. And I actually in the last 2.5 years met all kinds of people in my day to day in the store, and especially Geoffrey as well. I mean, I got to know him, and so I met him just like last month for the first time face to face. We've interacted with a bit before last year when I hosted this tournament called Battle Hardened, and then I connected Geoffrey to do some collaboration in Indonesia, and then finally got to meet him, and then I didn't know it was him at first because I contacted him to get a card from him, right? And then suddenly he was like, "Hey, talked before." I was like, "Yeah, really?" He's like, "Oh yeah, you're the dude from Invaders." So I was like, "Yeah, okay." So we met up last month. It was great. I got to meet some of the members of his community, some of the Indonesians. And it was quite amazing to be at the event because it was like meeting old friends again. Because I've been traveling the region a little bit for the business, to going to different events for Flash Emblem, and it's like a nice feeling, right? When you go to the event, they say, "Hey, I met you last year, or we met before. We talked online," and that's quite amazing. And I think that's why trading card games will have a new. I think they will really pick up a lot as we move forwards because there are a lot of games now, I think, on digital also, right? On mobile games where it's very gacha, where you got card game stuff. And I think that's something that will translate over into card games. And there are a lot of new card games coming out, honestly.
Yeah, I have to agree with Chris there. I mean, tabletop games in general, like whether it's board games, card games, war games, just something that connects people together. It brings people together, the flesh and blood. And then it's also something that gives us opportunities to meet new friends, new people, especially like how Chris has told you about how we met. So yeah, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah, and I think what I like about Flash Emblem is that the creator of Flash Emblem, the reason why it's called Flash Emblem, yeah, it sounds gory, right? Flash Emblem, But the main reason why he's so passionate about these games also because I know it sounds really corny, but he wants us to play the flesh and blood so that people each other, right? And he does, and even though he can actually make a digital card game, like Magic the Gathering has a digital card game, right? He doesn't, right? He actually wants the LGS to be supported. He wants us to be able to have the community grow and be like the old days of Magic when people used to go out for tournaments, meet people, play competitively, play casually as well, of course. Yeah.
It just has this different kind of feel, like when you play facing your screen and when you play face to face, it just feels different.
Yeah.
So, have you, Geoffrey, since you also run the shop in Indonesia, so have you observed a resurgence in your shop, as in, do you see a significant increase in the number of customers coming to your shop, maybe the younger players?
Yeah, I would say yes. Like right now we are in the middle of preparation for the national championship, national season here in all around the world, as a matter of fact. And like a few of my friends who also play this game have started, how do I say it, advertising it to their friends, like to their other friends who play other card games about this game. So, I mean, card games in general, like tabletop games in general, it's still a niche hobby here in Indonesia, but it's starting to attract more attention, mostly due to like how the social aspect of the game and how you can actually make some money, I think, from actually playing, from doing what you love.
Yeah, correct. I think, well, there's both negative and positives to that, right? I guess be able to make some like. But I think my personal belief is that the game should be fun first, then the monetary is second, right? I think sometimes being competitive is a bit more willing too heavily in that especially. So that's why I really love the game. Honestly, I want to dial down the competitive aspect. It's important. I think Flash and Blade is a great competitive game, but if we keep being too competitive, we end up alienating people from experiencing this super awesome game.
Yeah,
which I hear my customers, some new players sometimes come in while they playing other card games. Like met recently, especially like just these last few weeks, right? I have a new person just started coming to the store playing Flash and Blood. And he told me he said about Flash and Blood obviously before this, right? Because the game is relatively new. But because he already plays Magic, then he said that for a while he actually held off from getting to the game because he felt it was too competitive, right? He was so scared to like come in and like have to buy all these expensive cards. But then later I said to him, hey, there's other ways to engage with the game. Just that, for now, like, LSS tends to focus on the competitive aspect first, right? Which is correct. I think they should to focus on a certain segment of the target audience that you want. Then later see how we can get other people in, right? But the game has other formats. I try to encourage with the other formats so that they don't feel so threatened by the competitive aspect and the so-called expensive of getting some of these cards, right? Yeah,
competitiveness is just one aspect of the game. Yeah, there's still a lot to explore.
There is.
I mean, I feel there's a lot of takeaway, like somehow it relates to life also, how you manage. Talking about progress, talking about life, talking about challenges, and adapt to it. I know once you understand.
You start playing Flash and Blood, you do the same thing. Yeah, because Flash and Blood so it's got to be off system. Where I show you the game, you understand. And then it's like there's always like minute to minute decision. You don't just sit there and do nothing. Like when we were playing Dominion, also you felt it, right? Responding to what I will hit you with the militia thing, and then you lose 2 cards, and then after you I'm going to hit you back with militia. We can respond to each other. Flash and Blood, all card games have that kind of element, right? There's soft. There's also elements that you can disturb your opponent, attack them. Yeah.
What actually attracts me to the game is how it is pretty immersive. Let's say, if you are familiar with RPGs, you kind of like become the hero. How you become the embodiment of the hero. You have the equipment, you have your actions, you attack, you defend, and that's how immersive it is for me.
And then each hero, and also the mechanics of the game. Every hero I find very well thought through. I feel that I feel every hero plays differently, and they play to what the hero is supposed to be like. It's very interesting.
So how do you see this affecting the future of physical card games?
Well, I think card games. The challenge I think really is to get new people to play, right? Because card games for the longest time, ever since Magic, so it's been quite a close community, right? I think like for people like me, I wasn't exposed as much because I think not many avenues were there to actually get me to try it out, right? This whole card game scene always seems to be very mysterious. I think maybe the card game competition sort of like haven't done as much as they should, right? Where I think we need to get more people into the game, right? Into this game, because there's a lot to offer, not just competitive, but just for the experience of being social, being able to have cards as a subject matter that you can talk about, and have fun with that. Yeah, there's a lot that can happen, right? Or maybe card games for one day be like video games, right? Which when I was younger, video games were I don't play exclusive. So video games, like only a few people play. The rest of my classes be like, don't know what's going on, right? Yeah. So I think card games are kind of in that state right now. Not as many people are playing it. But I see the trend changing, right? I see more people play board games now.
It's something that I want to think about how to bring them together.
Yeah. I did some research and someone said this, that they said on how this can evolve further in the future is this inclusivity and diversity are crucial for the growth of trading card games, because companies must recognize the need to and this not only help create a more welcoming community but also attract new players who can see themselves reflected in the game.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. You're right. Actually, now that you have read this piece of news, actually that's quite true, right, Geoffrey? I feel like you can see a lot of people represented, and I think the community is quite diverse. Like all kinds of people play. Doesn't matter what skin color, what your beliefs are, what kind of lifestyle you choose to live. That is true. Yeah. I think that's great.
I think in my experience, it's one of the most inclusive communities that I have encountered. Like, yes, you can be competitive, but you are also open to discuss about things, about strategies, about deck lists. It's and how when you go to like big international event like the ones we went last month, how welcoming everyone is like that.
Yeah, there was all kinds of people playing, and it was quite cool last month when we saw. I didn't expect the top players to come, right? Like people like Brody Spurlock and Josh Lau and Ben Sen was there. I was like, yeah, I'm 46 years old, but I felt like a kid. Like, these superstars are here.
Actually, what is interesting is about how inclusive it is one of our regulars here in our store brings his kids to play together with him. Was a professional, and all of them are going to Tokyo to have some special blood action.
Yeah, I wish I could go. I can't afford it right now with the store and all the yeah. But then coming to we wanted to talk about the new heroes, right? Like I know I've been trying to keep up with the news because I've been so busy with so many different things, and I've been recently watched the gameplay videos that Emphasise put out about the blitz decks, right? And I was really like the how Noon plays, right? I think I'm most excited about Noon because I don't main assassin, but I got all the assassin class because for a period of time I was playing Arachne for a bit. I'm not playing Tecmo Watson, and I was like, I saw the gameplay video where Noon was playing against Zen, the new ninja, right?
I think definitely the transcend mechanics is interesting, very interesting.
Yeah,
like how you. Like we have these new cards that can transcend, like it can be flipped into new kind of resources and how it interacts with our hero powers. That's something that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool as well. It'll be a different way to play the game, right? And that's why I like. The one mechanic that I was surprised by before they revealed in the latest videos, the gameplay videos, right, was the cloak mechanic. Because when it started here, I was like, why the equipment like face down, and then your opponent doesn't know what you're going to use for the equipment, right? And then they had the mechanic where when the cards are flipped up, and then something will happen as well. Like, I think that's a very interesting, like sneaky way. Like, you play your opponent, like, what equipment do he have? Does he have that? You don't know. My opponent, does she have that? You don't know, and then they do the flip. And then it also means that as the opponent, if I see those flip cards, right, if I don't know what's there, then you can also like trick. I mean, your opponent, as you're playing with an opponent, your opponent can also like have the element of surprise because you can't remember what card they put, because you won't even know what card is there. Then they can surprise you with something from the reaction in the card or the instant that you play. I think that's pretty cool. This cloak mechanic.
Yeah, I think following up on that, I have an interesting question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
So we know that like in card games, in every set, you kind of like introduce new mechanics to keep the older players interested in the game. But how do you rate the mechanics in the new set, in the part of Mistveil, for newer players? Because it's something that we need to consider when we want to attract new players, right?
Yeah.
Like how it should be interesting but also easy enough to understand.
I think that's why this set. I think Enigma and Nu could be difficult for new players, right? But I think that's why they always. I think that's why in most of the sets that come out, they always have one hero that's easier for you to learn, right? In this case, Zen is that's an interesting point that you brought up. So I think in this set, Zen is probably the gateway hero for people to pick up the new set. And then you have all the older players who be like you and me, right? Like I may be attracted to Nu because of the whole play from the Betty zone mechanic, right? Play from your opponent's Betty zone. And then you like Enigma because of obviously the illusionist thing of playing the paper stir at instant, and also this transcend thing, right? Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I think out of those three heroes, if you were to read the difficulty level, Zen will be the easiest to get into. But not as easy as perhaps 5, but still the perfect way for people to start playing the new set. Or to get introduced to the game. And then you probably have, I think Nu is probably the second hardest to pick up and learn to play, followed by, I think Enigma will probably be the hardest to play, because I was watching gameplay videos of like, oh, what the heck, instant stuff is like just like playing Wizard or playing like Prism back in the day, right?
Yeah. I've tried brewing Enigma decks for the past few days, and it is really hard to play.
Yeah. But yeah, so definitely Ninja. I think Gerald, I would definitely get through. We can get count.
So I think for me, like for newer players, the most important part for you to kind of like come into this game is you must first find your favorite theme or favorite hero, I think. So that way you can enjoy more from the game.
Yeah. But I agree with you. I think, new sets can be very challenging for new people to come in, and then you can't have every hero to be open to everyone, right? But that's how card games are, I guess, right? And I actually, even though I don't like Ninja personally, right? Well, I really feel like Ninjas are a good hero for people to pick up. I think it's great that LSS has thought. I think definitely James Rice which hero will be, the Ninja. I mean, we don't even know whether there are going to be other heroes in there, right? Because they only reviewed me. There might be another. I think there'll be. I think there'll be another 3. I don't know about you, but I think there'll be.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's why LSS make the welcome deck. The IRA welcome deck is Ninja class. But I think along the way you should find something that you connect with. Like for me, for example, when I first started this game, I chose Brune Blade, right? Because I like the theme, I like how it plays, and that's how I stick into this game.
I started the game because, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, right? I never played card games before, and when my business partner was still around, he was the one who knew card games very well. So he said that you got to play old team. I was like, what old game? Okay, but in hindsight, I kind of miss old team now. I know some people don't like him, but I used to play because I didn't like the whole blocking kind of thing. But old team honestly taught me a lot about the game. The core mechanics of the game, or the advanced mechanics, right? Ohim taught me obviously about blocking. I can block efficiently. Ohim also, it was easy in terms of ease of play. Ohim also teaches you you can efficient blocks with your cards, and then you're having the resource to swing and attack, because Guardians do that really well, right? But the one thing I really appreciated about Ohim as a hero was the fact that Ohim taught me how to pitch stack, right? Because with Ohim, because you're playing the long game, you're blocking a lot with cards. and then after you're pitching, perhaps swinging your hammer like Titan's Fist or whatnot, then you actually put those cards that you want under the deck after you finish your turn. And by putting those cards under, when you go to second cycle, right, then you learn like how to put the right cards in the right order that you want, and then the cards come back in second cycle. So even he wasn't the easiest Guardian to play, but after a while I begin to appreciate him. And now currently that he's not around now, I do miss playing him because I'm like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Disrupt you with some ice. I can pitch stack really well. I got very good blocks, and then I can, I can do the frostbite thing or prevent the damage with the earth ice, the earth react, right? Yeah. So yeah, him, I do miss him. I know some people hate him, but I didn't play him the same way as others. I used to play with Earth Law Surge in my deck, so I can hit you for 12. So yeah.
I think right now Gerald is like listening to a discussion of rocket science.
They can do magic with the cards.
Correct. Yeah.
All the words come in.
Yeah, and I think that's where Geoffrey and myself, I think we both agree. We were chatting over in when we were in Phuket, right? We both agree that one of the challenges of card games is actually how do we get new players into experience this, right? And there's always a challenge of having the older players beat down the younger players or the newer players, and then both Geoffrey and I are very aware of that. So we're trying to figure out ways how we can get new players in, get that experience in the game. Also try to actually, try to educate the community or to influence the community to say, hey, at the end of the day, Flash Hunter is a game, right? If you see a new player in the store, play, don't beat them down, right? Because honestly, in this game, when you have certain cards that you have, that you already have as an older player or you already paid money for, you are definitely going to be more powerful than the younger player, right? Because the younger player is just nothing else. They may not even have all the cards that you need in their deck, and then it's not a great experience to get beat down. Even now as an older player, especially I play against a deck that is like counter to my deck, it's very terrible. You get 2 straight losses and you feel like, crap, why am I playing?
So I guess if there's someone to lead and guide the beginner, then you will enjoy the session even more. Instead of trying to figure out himself, instead of trying to do his own research and figure out.
Yeah, I think that's store owners first we are responsible for that. I think Geoffrey will believe that, right? You might see a new player come to the store, they don't know what they're doing or they don't know what play. I would take I'll take the initiative to talk to them. But I have to say, compared to most other card games, I think Flash of Blood community is generally more welcoming. Players are more open to share. I have players in my store who give other players cards as well. Like, hey, this is just starting off. And this kind of experience is not just in Malaysia. I'm sure in Malaysia it happens as well. But when I listen to other podcasts, they talk about the community, about even the podcasters themselves, right? They talk about how to welcome new players in. I can hear a lot of people say, here's a playset of cards for you. You can just take it, start it off. And we can be very generous with some of the cards. Of course, some of the more expensive ones maybe not so much. But in general, I think Flash Hunter players are very welcoming. Yeah, and that's a big plus in the game. Yeah. I don't know, Geoffrey, any experiences you can share in your store about the generosity of the community?
I think that's one of the key of driving this game forward is how the community helps each other. Like here in Invaders, our player base try to actively invite people to try the game and try to support new players as much as possible, helping them with getting the cards they need, teaching them how to play effectively and efficiently with their decks, sharing deck lists, and just having discussions on a regular basis about how to be engaging to the new players. And you definitely cannot do it alone as a store owner. You need the help of the community to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. In my community as well, they all participate here and there. Of course, they're not always in the store, of course, right? Because they have to go to work or their deal.
Yeah.
Actually, but if ever, for example, in my store, people volunteer the time at times, coming, and I'm always very touched that I see members of my community sometimes step up to help me out because I'm just one person together now in my store manager, right? And we could use all the help we get. And I think the Flash Hunter community has been also. I think hobby-based communities are awesome. I have some. I have this YouTuber now who comes to my store for One Piece, and he's very supportive of the store. I'm very grateful for that. In the community is coming together. I find that our hobby communities are quite positive. Then.
From my perspective, I think both you guys are actually doing a great job because encouraging people to play card games actually is you are instilling a lot of communication values in them because it is not just another game, it's also about networking. It's a form of making friends,
Yeah.
and enjoying something that is fun and also healthy in a way also because it's not like too much screen time and staring at computer. Right? It's also use your brain and sharing things. So it's a community. It benefits the player also like in some ways.
Yeah, correct. I mean, like you see younger kids today so glued to the screen. Even us adults, I have to admit, right? Yeah. So forcing ourselves, say during meal times, don't look at your phone. You can always look at it after or whatever, right? But I think one good thing about card games, I see, especially any card game, not just Flash and Blood, generally card games, for example, right? I see people most of the time, the phones are down. They don't look at their phones for most of the time, unless it's something really important. But I think that's great, right? Because then you're interacting with the persons that you're playing with, and you're not looking at your device. And I think that's something that that is a great thing, especially in our connected world today. We need to have that phone. Because for example, I'm quite distracted a lot of times by my device, right? I'm always looking at it for message, looking at it for Facebook message or Facebook or at Twitter. I'm like, and then sometimes the people in front of me, I neglect them, right?
Yeah, card games are good on connecting people. I think it's me myself. I'm an introvert, but when I'm having like today, we will have an event, a weekly Armory event for Flesh and Blood. It's something that I'm looking forward to. Like I want to meet my friends. I want to play games with them. I want to chat, socialize with them.
Yeah, interesting. Is it?
Yeah.
So maybe to wrap it up, I can say that the demand for trading card games is growing, and it's an exciting time to be involved in the industry. So as we wrap up, I'd like each of you to share one final thought on the future of trading card games.
The future of trading card games.
Or whatever.
I don't know. I hope. I mean, maybe I'm as a business owner, so I hope it's going to pick up really big because it can be quite a challenge to be in a niche hobby, right? And with all the different card games coming out right now, and of course with the mobile, I wouldn't call it revolution. It's already here now. The mobile world today, you got all these different games that actually have come in. I think that will give tremendous opportunities for our communities to grow bigger, because there are things that people can instantly be able to relate to or familiar to them. I think card games give you that opportunity, and and if you actually go and look at the new card games coming out, I'm actually quite surprised because when I first got into the business, it was like Flash and Blood. You had like maybe someone gives up One Piece or whatnot. And then suddenly now when you look at the TCG world news, right, there's so many card games coming out. Like my son is currently doing a this game called Alpha Clash. I'm trying to get it off the ground. And there's so many games out there. And I mean, there are so innovative games I'm seeing that's very interesting right now that utilizes digital to keep the value of the card. I don't know. Yeah,
I think card games are here to stay. Like if we see about it, card games have started at the 90s, and I think we are like the first generation to like actively play card games. Like we have different kinds of card games now, and I think going forward, when we have kids, for example, we can pass it to the younger generation. It's just gonna keep growing. I think.
Yeah, I think so. It could be like family heirloom, like here's a final spring tunic you keep for the next generation. I don't know. I mean,
it's funny.
Most card games we know about secondary market value by the cards, right? So I don't know. Maybe one day my relatives or if I have children one day, there's something they can use. They can sell the card. They can be like pay the college tuition. I don't know. Of course, we spend a lot of money on these games, but yeah, that's that opportunity. I mean, if Flash and Blood really does grow, I think some of the cards could have a good value, which can help us in the future. Whenever we need money, family needs money, then. Can you imagine that selling a card for like 10,000 US? I think that would be very helpful. But nevertheless, that's not the main point, right? It is, if you play the games for the monetary value alone, I think that's you might as well go invest in the stock market, right?
Yeah, true.
So thank you all for sharing your insights and perspective on the future of trading card games. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. That concludes today's episode of Trading Card Talk, and thank you for tuning in, and remember to keep collecting, trading, and playing those cards. Until next time.
Card delight, trading cards. It's time to tune in, join the conversation. Ready to journey into the trading card hall.